They grabbed my arm hard and said, "Sir, you're coming with us." No warning, no questions. Just loud voices, fake badges, and my neighbors staring like I was some criminal. Karen stood behind them with her arms crossed, smiling like she finally won. "I told you," she yelled. "This HOA runs this place." I looked at the cuffs in one man's hand and then at the line she said that made my blood run cold. "Take him now before his kid gets home." I stayed calm even though my chest was burning. This was my house, my land. My flag was still hanging on the porch. Karen stepped closer and whispered, "You think you're special?" I already called my people. One of the fake cops pushed me toward the driveway and said, "You're violating community rules and resisting authority." Slowly looked around and noticed something small. The badge numbers didn't match. The radios were silent. No body cams. No real confidence. Just loud acting. Karen suddenly shouted, "Search his house too." Like she owned it. That's when I realized this wasn't about HOA rules anymore. This was personal. She wanted me gone, scared, broken. I glanced at my front door, then at the security camera blinking red above it. The fake cop noticed my eyes and snapped, "Don't look around." I almost laughed, almost. Inside my pocket, my phone vibrated once. A single message popped up on the screen. "Are they with you now?" I lifted my head slowly and said something that made Karen's smile freeze. "You really should have checked who you were messing with." She rolled her eyes and said the line everyone remembers later, "Men like you always bluff." She had no idea how wrong she was. One of the fake cops shoved me again and said, "Turn around." His hands were shaking. Karen didn't notice. She was too busy telling the neighbors how I was finally getting removed. Turned slightly and said, calm and slow, "You sure you want to do this on camera?" That's when Karen snapped. "Those cameras don't matter. HOA authority overrides everything. Here." She pulled out a folded paper and slapped it against my chest. Some fake notice with a copied logo and no signature. "You're trespassing on community land," she said loudly. The fake cops nodded like trained parrots. Then I did something small that changed the air completely. I pressed one button on my phone. A quiet beep came from inside the house. The front door locked itself. The cameras switched to live upload. One of the fake cops whispered, "Hey, what was that?" Karen caught it and yelled, "Ignore him. He's trying to scare you." I looked straight at her and said, "No, I'm trying to protect you from what happens next." She laughed. "From who, you?" I leaned closer and lowered my voice so only she could hear. "From the real law enforcement. That's already on the way." Her smile cracked for half a second. At that exact moment, one of the fake cops' radios suddenly turned on by itself. Loud static filling the driveway. He panicked and shut it off fast. I didn't miss it. Karen didn't either. I added quietly, "Funny thing about fake cops. They panic first." And that's when Karen realized this wasn't going according to her plan anymore. Karen stepped back like she smelled trouble, then snapped, "Stop the act. Arrest him now." The taller fake cop reached for my wrists again, but his hand hesitated. He kept looking toward the road. I followed his eyes and smiled just a little. A black SUV had slowed down at the corner, then kept going. Karen pointed at me and shouted, "You see? Nothing's happening." I nodded, "Yeah, because they're not here for noise." That made her nervous. She moved closer and hissed, "Who did you call?" I didn't answer. I just said, "Check your phone." She scoffed but pulled it out anyway. Her face changed fast. Color drained. "Why is my HOA group chat blowing up?" She muttered. The fake cops leaned in, trying to read her screen. I spoke calmly, almost bored. "Because someone just shared the live feed. Your orders, their faces. Your voice telling them to take me before my kid gets home." One of the fake cops cursed under his breath. "You said this was clean," he whispered to Karen. She snapped back, "Shut up." I tilted my head. "Clean? You brought impersonators onto federal land." Her eyes went wide. "Federal?" I nodded slowly. "This house was never under your HOA. It sits on a protected parcel tied to my work." Karen laughed, shaky and loud. "You're lying." I finally met her eyes and said the line that made her step back for real. "I don't lie when my badge is involved." From down the street, real sirens began to rise. Not close yet, but getting closer. Karen's voice went sharp. "He's lying. He's trying to scare you." But her hands were shaking now. The fake cop started stepping away from me, slow, like distance might save them. One of them whispered, "This wasn't the deal." I looked at him and said, "The deal ended the moment you touched me." The sirens grew louder. This time they didn't fade. They stayed. Karen turned on me, eyes wild. "You planned this, didn't you?" I shook my head. "No, you did. You just picked the wrong house." She tried to switch tactics fast. "Officer, sir, listen, we can fix this. Joe just made a mistake." I laughed once, short and quiet. "You filed a false report. You hired fake cops. You tried to take me before my kid got home. That's not a mistake." One of the fake cops suddenly ran, just bolted down the street. Karen screamed, "Stop him!" Nobody moved. Then I did it. I slowly pulled out my wallet and opened it just enough. Blue letters, gold seal. Karen stared. "That's fake," she whispered. I leaned in and said, "It's active." The first real patrol car turned the corner. Then another. Then a black SUV slid in behind them and stopped right in front of my driveway. A man stepped out of the SUV, looked at me and nodded once. "Sorry we're late," he said. Karen's knees almost gave out. And I hadn't even told her my real job yet. Karen backed away, hands up, trying to smile. "This is all a misunderstanding," she said fast. I was just helping the community. The real cops didn't even look at her. One of them walked straight to the fake cops and asked one simple question. "Where did you get those uniforms?" Silence. The man who ran earlier was already on the ground at the corner, face down, caught by another unit. The two left in my driveway started sweating. One dropped his cuffs by mistake. Metal hit concrete, loud, final. Karen jumped in again, desperate now. "He threatened me first." "He said he was FBI to scare us." I shook my head. "No. I said nothing until you crossed the line." The agent from the SUV stepped closer and said, calm but heavy, "Ma'am, step aside." She ignored him and pointed at me. "Arrest him."
He doesn't even belong here.
That's when the agent said the words that broke her world. "He belongs exactly where he is." He turned to the cops and added, "This property is under federal protection, and the man you tried to remove works for us." Karen's mouth opened. No sound came out. One of the fake cops dropped to his knees. "We didn't know." She said it was safe. The agent looked at Karen. "You hired them." She screamed, "I didn't hire anyone. They're volunteers." The agent didn't blink. Volunteers don't carry fake badges. Karen's phone slipped from her hand and hit the ground. The HOA group chat was still exploding. Neighbors were coming out now. Phones up, recording everything. She whispered, broken, "Please, turn the cameras off." I looked at her and said quietly, "You wanted an audience." Karen's face went pale as the agent stepped closer. She tried one last bluff. You can't do this." HOA rules. The lead agent cut her off. HOA rules don't override federal law. You're under investigation for impersonation and harassment. The fake cops were handcuffed, shaking as the neighbors recorded every second. Karen tried to run, but the agents blocked her path. Her smug, powerful act crumbled in front of everyone. I watched quietly, arms crossed. My kid safely behind me as one agent whispered, "All evidence is on file." "She's done." Karen slumped to the ground, defeated, while the neighbors murmured in shock. Cameras, phones, and my security system had captured every moment. The HOA's fake authority was exposed, and justice was served without a single punch thrown. I smiled at my kid, whispered, "No one messes with our family or our land." And for the first time that day, the sun felt like it belonged to us again. Karen would be remembered, but not for power, only for the downfall she brought on herself. The end. Please visit my new channel, link in the description. Watch the videos, enjoy them, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't miss out on the new HOA stories.